Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to rock? This is Gary Spivak, and you are off stage with DWP. And today, very fortunate to have a special guest, David Draiman of Disturbed. Greetings,
How are
sir.
you?
You
Happy
know,
quarantine to you.
yeah, it is what it is. And we're trying to turn lemon into lemonade here. And thank you
Yeah,
for joining us, man.
absolutely.
So we're gonna when we're done talking and rock fans get enough of me out there listening to Offstage, we're probably gonna cut to a couple great Disturbed performances from DWP festivals. I want to get into our history together, but first, talk about you for a second. I've done some reading. I've read up on this, and that's my bad. But and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've read on you is you're student of your history of rock and roll. It reads so well to me, and it makes so much sense. And what I mean by that is, you started with Kiss and Sabbath and Zepp as a music kid, that went into Metallica and Iron Maiden and Pantera. But then, in addition to that, you also went Sex Pistols, Ramones, Misfits. But then there's the Smiths and Depeche Mode and The Cure. And then to top it off, you got Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains.
Mhm.
That makes so much sense to me. And every band I just named, I personally love too. Number one, is that correct? That
Very
all,
much so.
yeah,
And I actually have to lump in, the part that a lot of Wikipedia things and things of that nature often get wrong is like that they don't take enough of some of the more modern aspects of influence in some of the artists. Like they'll go ahead and stay all the classics, and it's interesting that I happen to be calling grunge artists classics at this point, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess even we're considered heritage artists in a way, but it really all depends on how you feel about the more current bands that I personally, and I know Danny as well, gained a lot of inspiration from are bands like Korn and Tool and the Deftones, and even Typo Negative and a guy like Peter Steele back in the day, rest in peace. I mean, all those. I mean, yeah, you definitely had all the core basics, the Sabbaths, the Maidens, the Priests, the starting with Kiss and your exposure. But I would dare say that Disturbed would not have become Disturbed without the new wave of heavy metal that came to fruition about 97, 98, and really was at its apex by about 2003, 2004. That whole, what a lot of people call new metal, whether you fit into it stylistically or not, it was this huge thing. And when I was exposed to, that first Korn record, that first Deftones record,
Yeah.
the way that Jonathan and Chino incorporated rhythm into the melody was me going to school. I mean, that I learned so much from those guys, and then even from guys like, even how, let's say, Anthony from the Chili Peppers would utilize his vocals rhythmically, or that fusion of rhythmic melody with that heaviness is what made us us. And
That's really interesting, David, to talk about Anthony
yeah,
and Jonathan, because there's total rhythm in their
yeah,
vocal and how they treat their vocals. I haven't thought of
incredibly
that. Yeah.
inspirational. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even like a Zach of Rage Against the Machine. And
Times 10.
yeah, totally.
One of the great things about Zach is his tone. He's
Mhm.
got that instantly wonderfully abrasive tone. You don't even have to try. It just comes out that way. One
And
of
and and I've been fortunate enough to be in studios where rock singers try, and I'll quote Jewel, going way off base here, but she said recording an album is like faking an orgasm.
You know
And
what? Everybody always tries to capture the live experience in recording. It's almost impossible to do. But
right.
you know what? You can have an orgasm on tape. It's all right.
I think Axel might have during Rocket Queen or something.
Yeah.
But what I love about your influences, aside from the standards, is that you have something like the Smiths
Mm.
or the Sex Pistols in there. And
New wave and punk were huge for me. huge, massive, and the melody, you know, and the melodic nature of a band like, let's say, you know, bands like the Misfits or the Ramones, to have those almost 50s, 60s era rock and roll melodies infused in modern day punk was something they pioneered. And to understand the value and the brilliance of having those melodic hooks within that type of aggressive music was something that all of us learned from.
Well, we talk about this a lot at DWP, how we want to curate and produce for festivals. And when we started, David, and Disturbed, by the way, was right from the get-go. You guys were in year 2 of Rock on the Range in Columbus, where you and STP, there was their first show in 7 years. Rest in peace, Scott Weiland. Yeah. So you've been with us forever, but we kind of lifted. We wanted to lift from the European model of the Reading and Leeds and Glastonburys and Doningtons. Because, as you know, in America, for whatever reason, things are so like in a box. You know, you're in this lane. And when I say the Smiths and Sex Pistols, to me, like NWA, that it's rock and roll, because the attitude and the angst and the energy is there. Yeah. And in Europe, you're allowed to have Disturbed and Fall Out Boy play together.
To have an eclectic bill isn't a sin, you know. And believe it or not, there are all sorts of people at rock festivals all over the country who are proving that. And you guys have helped prove that. I mean, your bills have become more diverse over the years too, and I think it's only strengthened the festival. I think, look, you have to have different flavors, and you know, to serve different people, but you can't always expect the snobbery that sometimes exists, you know, to be as common as you think. A lot of people have eclectic tastes. Look, people gravitate towards one thing or the other. They may be rock fans to begin with, but they like all kinds of stuff. And being exposed to different kinds of rock, and there are a lot of different flavors, is a good thing. And you don't have to be all heavy all the time. There's all kinds of different things going on. And festivals like that, and like what yours has become, I think are the perfect environment for that fusion of elements. And music is music, man, and energy is energy. I don't think there's a downside to having great bands playing with other great bands, even if they aren't technically in the same genre per se.
I amen to that, because we want to be able to go, you know, Lamb of God and Death Heaven, but then we also want to be able to go Ice Cube and Queens of the Stone Age, and then have
it happens in festivals everywhere. There's no reason that the quote unquote branded rock festivals can't be more inclusive of different styles and not only maintain what they've built but grow it. I think you've shown that already. I think that the past couple bills have shown that. And look, there's all kinds of problems with our environment, all right, that the entire touring world had issues during certain years. And I wouldn't judge the success of one particular year versus the other solely on the strength of any particular bill or how that might appeal to said demographic. I would judge it more by everything that's going on and say that if you look at everything, you guys from a baseline perspective, we're still growing. And so I think that, you know, there's no wrong in what we're suggesting, you or I. But we also have to be careful not to go too far too fast.
Can't jump the shark, right? Like Fonzie. Yeah. I agree, but because at the core, we are rock and roll. We are rock festivals.
Yeah.
But to us, rock is this bigger net, and we always wanted it to be. We are off stage with DWP. I have David from Disturbed joining us. Very psyched. One more question about your past, and I might be wrong and this is an assumption, but sometimes you talk to a rock star or a lead singer, and they're like, I wanted to do this since I listened to Led Zeppelin 2, or I wanted to do this since I saw Whitesnake in the balcony at blah, blah Coliseum. I have a feeling you had a different path. This wasn't something like I'm a rock when you were 8 years old or 12 years old.
You know, I didn't know it in the way that it ended up manifesting, but when I was a little boy, I mean, like 4 or 5 years old already, I was singing with my family. And in Judaism, it's there's so much song involved in everything, when in prayer, in the hymns, and all over the place during the Sabbath, when we get together with the family and you're sitting at the table and you're singing songs, and so it became a thing, and that turned into choir, which turned into more classical and cantorial training. And then what flipped the switch to rock and everything else, really, and it's not that I didn't already like it, because when I was 11 years old, I went and bought my first record, which was Kiss Destroyer, and I got introduced to it by that. But I snuck out of my parents' house on a Friday night, which is the Sabbath, which they were not happy about, and they're probably still not happy about. But, and I snuck out with some friends of mine, and I went to a place that used to be called the Cabaret Metro. There's now the Metro in Chicago.
Love it.
Saw some little punk rock cover band. Like, they're nobody. I don't even remember the name of the band. But they made such an impression on me, the live experience that I witnessed for the very first time. And the energy that front man, that the guy who was fronting the band had with the crowd, and the back and forth, and just it was intoxicating. And that night, when I saw what he was able to not only do to the crowd, but do for the crowd, that was what got me. And I was like, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. And everything else ended up becoming just a backup plan after that point, to be perfectly honest. Now, there were backup plans that I took pretty damn seriously. I ended up getting 3 degrees and was accepted into law schools and didn't end up going, and the whole 9 yards. And I don't have any regrets, but it is what it is. Life has a strange way of working out sometimes. Maybe
did it help you when you had to look at band contracts, at least?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It still does.
Wait, this radius clause, what is that?
Yeah.
So again, thank you for answering that. We're with David of Disturbed, and we're off stage with DWP. I don't think there's a DWP festival that Disturbed hasn't played. Whether it's Welcome to Rockville in Florida, or Louder Than Life in Louisville, or Aftershock in Sacramento. You even did Chicago open air for us, and that was your hometown.
Which is amazing for us too. I mean, that place that the first one was held at,
the soccer stadium.
Yeah, Danny's family has history in that venue. Like, I think they did work there in the past. I mean, so for it to come full circle, for him to end up playing there in front of all those people at home, it was really surreal. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you for being able to help us make those moments happen.
I remember backstage at that show, and you guys had like a hip hop entourage. That show, you had a very.
It was pretty obscene in Chicago. Yeah, it's one way of putting it. We definitely had our crew hanging with us. That's for sure. It was insane, dude.
Do you have? I was always fantasized about band rituals before a show. I thought Black Sabbath we probably did a seance, before in their backstage. And I've seen you. It's part question, part comment. I'll get to it. Number one, does Disturbed have a formal kind of moment before you hit the stage in front of 40,000 people?
We do. Basically, it's the same routine every night for all of us. We shut everything down about an hour prior to the set. And an hour prior to the set, I'm warming up, I'm loosening up. The other guys are warming up and loosening up as well. And about 10, 15 minutes prior to the actual heading the stage, we gather with ourselves and our tour manager and a few other people, and we always do a pre-show shot. Now, I don't actually drink during the shot. I just end up having water or tea or whatever the hell I got.
Oh, you tease it?
Yeah, because I can't risk it.
You do the old.
No. Well, I want to at least be a part of it, right? So I have them pour me something. And back in the day when I was younger and a little bit more resilient, a little shot of Jaeger prior to the set wasn't a horrible thing.
Right.
These days, it's a little bit too much of a shock to the pipes for those of us who actually still sing live. And,
Ooh.
you know,
Yeah.
it's tough, man. It's tough. The older you get, and we've had the habit of making our material more and more challenging the further our career has gone. So it's not easy to keep up. But yeah, I mean, we'll have that pre-show shot, and we'll fist bump everybody, and we head out there. We fist bump the entire crew actually before we take the stage. And if we don't, it's like bad juju. You can't. One or two of us will end up freaking out. Oh, we missed the fist. We have to do it. Something bad's going to happen. We're jinxing everything, you know. So.
That's awesome. I asked because the last time Disturbed played with a DWP event was at Sonic Temple in Columbus, and we had a comedy tent. And the headliner was an artist we've wanted to get for like a decade, which was the Dice Man. And Andrew Dice Clay. And hopefully we can cut to a photo, because you were nice enough to allow the Dice Man to hit the main stage right before you guys in front of 40,000 drunken, crazy, ready to go rock fans. Sidebar, you know, his Jack and Jill went up the hill and Little Bo Peep didn't go over too well in the 2019, 2020 Me Too movement.
You mean they didn't like Hickory Dickory? Come on.
I mean, that's like classic rock. Funny enough, and because I just watched a Dice on YouTube from like 1990, 91, and half the crowd were ladies, and they were ball. It was just a different man.
Yeah.
But I bring it back because Andrew Dice Clay really wanted to meet you guys. And me and Danny Wimmer were really nervous about it because it was like 20 minutes before you're going on stage for headlining Saturday night at Sonic Temple, sold out crowd. You guys couldn't have been more chill and more relaxed. So the mystique of Black Sabbath doing some seance with candles and devil worshiping, you guys just were really comfortable, and you welcomed the Dice Man with open arms, and there was like, I think you guys want to do a photo op with him.
Yeah, dude, we're fans as well. I was relishing the opportunity. My wife enjoyed it. I mean, it was just like a moment. It was cool. He was very gracious and very, very, you know, he was very down to earth. He was a nice guy to meet. It was our pleasure to be able to hang with him.
I've gotten to know him. Of course, he is completely misunderstood. He's a sweet teddy bear of a guy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an all shtick. It truly is. But I was just very impressed by, we knocked on the door and you guys, we feel like backstage and when Disturbed is on stage, your stage is kind of like your, you know, it's your bedroom, it's your living room. Like, don't invade it.
Brother, listen, don't get me wrong. It's important for everyone to be able to have the time to focus. But truth be told, dude, if you're at this stage of the game, and you're at this stage of our career, and you can't handle a little bit of, you know, somebody coming to say hello when you already should have been ready to go out there, something's wrong with you. I mean, all due respect. I mean, if you, then maybe you're a little wound a little bit too tight for your own good, and you should need to figure out why that is.
Do you like or prefer a Disturbed headline gig or a big festival, or do you treat them the same way?
They're different. I like them both for different reasons, because when it's just a headline show, you can bring all your own toys. You have all the time you want. You can map it out any way you want. You have the luxury of space and time and unlimited creativity. When it's a festival environment, you're sharing the stage with, you know, a whole bunch of other bands, and even as the headliner, you all don't want to be a pig about it, and you want to be able to let everybody, you know, have as great of a show as they can up there. It's what's best for everyone. So it's kind of a little bit of a give and take. But what you get from the festival that you don't get from a headlining show is, number one, you know, the added value of all that power on one bill. And two, you get that camaraderie and that summer camp vibe of seeing all your boys, and it's just a great feeling, you know. We all look forward to the festivals, all of us, every band on the festivals, because it's the one time that we actually let our proverbial hair down. and just relax a little bit and be amongst our brothers and you know, see everyone we didn't get to see since the last one, maybe.
Right.
And truth be told, and a lot of people won't say this, but it's the truth, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's this friendly competition.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Automatically happens. The minute that you are playing with other bands that you respect and admire, and you see them and you watch them, and we go out and watch the other bands. I like watching the other bands. And you see them bring their A game up to a festival crowd. You're like, all right, the gauntlet has been laid down. Let's go. You know,
nice.
You'll find that some of us, and dare I say, all of us at times, will have some of our best performances at festivals because we're driven by that.
We're with David of Disturbed. You are off stage with DWP. We're going to play some Disturbed right now from a past or two DWP festival, and you'll see exactly what the hell David's talking about. Hey, man, I couldn't thank you enough for joining us. By the way, you win the award right now for furthest Zoom call. David's in Hawaii. We're all #jealous. In between, I think I caught you in between maybe a surf run or dealing with your construction guy, right?
Yeah, the latter, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is your boy loving the ocean? Does he hit the water?
Yeah, he does. He can't stay out of it. It's crazy. He's more about the pool than he is the ocean, but he's a water boy for sure. It's insane.
That's great. Hey, look, any last thing you want to say to all the rock fans listening?
Just that we can't wait to get back out there, and you know, we look. This is necessary evil, everyone. Everybody needs to stay safe. Everybody needs to just take care of themselves, and we need to do what we need to do as a society and as a planet to just minimize the damage from this thing. And if that means that we need to wait to get together and celebrate, then that's what it means. And we'll be there, and it'll happen eventually. And we look forward to it happening. And I think all this built-up anticipation, once it finally can happen, is going to make for one hell of a celebration.
Can you imagine, you know, with Welcome to Rockville in 2021 with you and Metallica, and
once it's safe and they really can, and they've been pent up and held back for so long, oh my God, people are going to come out in droves. I'm confident of it. So
right on. Here's to that. Well, thank you again, and we'll see you at a big ass rock festival sooner than later.
Oh yeah, brother.
We hope, David.
Take care, man.
Brother.
Sonic Temple. It's good to be back on these hallowed grounds. We're very, very happy to be here. So I don't know if you turned on the television today, or if you've had the courage to look at that fragrant cesspool that we refer to as the internet. But everyone and their mother is trying to convince us, for their own reasons, that we are more divided as a country, as a people, as a society than we've been since the dawn of humanity. And I look out at this audience tonight, and I know beyond any shadow of a doubt that they don't have the slightest idea what the fuck they're talking about. I see represented here tonight all colors of skin, all walks of life. It doesn't matter here tonight what you believe or what you don't believe. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket. It doesn't matter what your sexuality might be. Nobody here gives a shit, ladies and gentlemen. And it certainly doesn't matter what side of the fence your politics may lie on here tonight. Tonight, we are celebrating the politics of rock and roll. Do you understand me? And when the right song comes on and all of you are singing the words together and you look at each other, none of the rest of the poison that they're trying to fill your brains with matters anymore. The very notion that they would try to make you believe otherwise simply stupefies me. Bringing you another disturbing creation from the minor. Once a animal who can tell the difference and gets to be mine. Cleaning my whole lane of just one. My meaning was just one. Saying that you don't give up. My sales to me might come in again. All I wanted was just one. Turning it to innocent. And I feel like I'm cheating on them. My sales to me might come in again. Why? Like beginning down with my mask of reality. I'm feeling all sorts and I think I'm breaking down. Why? Like beginning around with my mask of reality. I'm feeling all sorts and in a way. See, man, I don't get it. Should think maybe we can put it on credit. Should think you can think it's one on a minute. Hey, it's still be mine. Don't listen, you see, living in my I don't get it. Should think maybe we can put it on credit. Should think you can think it's one on a minute. Hey, it's still be mine. Hey, it's still be mine. Are you ready to use filthy language with me, Columbus? Then show me. Here we go. All the people in the left wing, and all the people in the right wing, and all the people in the underground. And my sales in me bike, I'm in make again. All the people in the high rise, all the people in the projects, all the hitting in the barrio. And my sales in me bike, I'm in make again. Why? Like beginning around with my what's the reality? I feel it all starts with nothing. I'm breaking down. Why? Like beginning around with my what's the reality? I feel it all starts with no way. See, man, I don't get it. Should think maybe we can put it on credit. Should think you can think into one on a minute. Still be mine. Totally see you see. Living in man, I don't get it. Should think maybe we can put it on credit. Should think you can think into one on a minute. Still be mine. I'd still be mine. by. Getting my bass here in my soul. 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 Getting my bass there into my soul. Getting my bass there into my soul. Getting my bass there into my soul. I'm making this stupid boy. Here we go. Playing unsung melody. Julia's waiting there for you to find it. It's not right from the remedy. Clear reminder of how it began. Deep inside your memory. Turn away as you struggle to find it. Heard it call as you walked away. Voice of calm from within the silence. For what seemed an eternity. Waiting, hoping it would call out again. You heard the shadow beckoning. And your fears seem to keep you blinded. Held your guard as you walked away. When you think all is forsaken, send to me now. You need never feel broken again. Sometimes darkness show you the light. Unforgivable tragedy. The answer isn't where you think you'd find it. Prepare yourself for reckoning. When your worlds crumble again, I'll be afraid, don't turn away. You're the one who can redefine it. Don't let hope become a memory. Hands, let the shadow permeate your mind and reveal the thoughts that were tucked away. So nothing all can be open again in your darkest memory. Now is the answer if you dare to find it. Don't let hope become a memory. When you think all is forsaken, send to me now. Beauty never feel broken again. Sometimes darkness show you the light. Beautiful. Sickening, awakening, no, another song, but pariah consume your soul. It needs strengthening, toughening, takes a minute dog to rekindle the fire, burning in the air. Ignite the fire within you. When you think all is forsaken, send to me now. It never feel broken serpentine. Given to me, it seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. Given to me, in my own reflection, suddenly it changes, violently it changes. Oh, now there is no turning back. Now, woken up the demon in me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then never find a mate. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mama, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come get down with the sickness. And this is the gift that's a given to me. I can see inside you, the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. You give it to me. It seems that all that was good has died and is decaying in me. You give it to me. It seems you're having some trouble in dealing with these changes, dealing with these changes. Oh, now the world is a scary place. Now that you've woken up the demon. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then never find a mate. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mama, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, get down with the sickness. And this is the gift that's a given to me. And when I dream, and when I dream, and when I dream, and when I dream, no mommy, don't do it again, don't do it again. I'll be a good boy, I'll be a good boy, I promise. No mommy, don't hit me. Ow, why you hit me like that, mommy? Don't do it, you're hurting me. Ow, why you have to be such a bitch? Why don't you? I need a fuck up and die. Why could you just fuck up and die? Why could you just leave him and die? Never stick your hand in my face again, bitch. Fuck you! I don't need this shit, you stupid, sadistic, abusive fucking whore. Would you like to see how it feels, mommy? Here it comes, get ready to die!